Enjoying the show? You can help others find it and enjoy it too by giving us a 5-star rating or review. If you feel like reaching out to us with a question or comment, you can send us an email at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit our website at mywifethedietitian.com, as well as our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy the show. It's Rob and Sandra from My Wife the Dietitian, and this is Nutrition Nuggets.
Nutrition Nuggets. Beans, they're good for your heart. We got to talk about bean dishes today.
Yes, we do, for a couple reasons.
Yeah.
One, they're good for you. And two, a lot of people don't really know how to cook with beans.
A lot of people. That is like my number one question people ask me. Like, because I'm always talking about, well, do you have like meatless Mondays, or do you include beans anywhere in your week? Not really. Sometimes we have chili maybe once a month, or maybe, I might have taco salad when I go out to eat. But anyways, this is a good one because so many people would like an idea of how to use beans more. And why should we use beans?
Beans are good for your heart, right? They have fiber, they have protein, they're plant protein.
You got it. They're plant-based protein, like it's an alternative to meat.
Yeah.
They're so easy to make.
Oh, they're so easy.
So easy. So don't eat raw beans. So you can buy them in the dry goods or like the bulk, or get them in a bag that are dried, and then you have to soak them and cook them and like boil and rinse. Or you can get them canned.
And they're not raw if they're in a can. Is that what you mean by raw beans? The raw beans are the ones that are like hard and in a bag that you need to cook.
Exactly.
The ones in a can are already cooked. You just have to heat them.
Yeah. And we're talking about beans, legumes, lentils, pulses. Those are all different terms for legumes. And we know that they fit into the MIND diet, which is the diet that's a mix of the Mediterranean and DASH diet. So dietary approaches to stop hypertension is DASH, and the Mediterranean, all those different areas like
Italy, Greece, Spain, Northern Africa,
Morocco,
France. Yeah, all the countries around the Mediterranean. This is kind of a diet that is very common in a lot of those countries.
Yeah, and it's like a lifestyle, really. And so that's the whole thing, is the MIND diet is the one that we spoke about on, I think it was episode 14.
Somewhere back there, yeah.
Oh, it's a really important one, because if you start using the principles of the MIND diet when you're younger, you can actually help to reduce your risk of developing dementia, which seems to be growing in our generation with older people. So beans is a big part of it. And we talked about it with Michelle Sari last week when we talked about aging well and the blue zones and longevity. And that's one of the common factors in all the different areas in the blue zones around the world is eating beans like 3-4 times a week.
And if you haven't seen that documentary, I know we've mentioned this before. I think I have. Awesome documentary. It's called The Blue Zones, and it's a 3 or 4 part documentary. We watched it on Netflix. I'm sure you could probably find it on YouTube or somewhere else, but it was released a while ago, so it's out there. But really, really interesting information on healthy eating, healthy life, and what factors contribute to that. And that's where we're getting some of this information from anyway, about the Mediterranean diet, because that was sort of one of the results of this study, was that the Mediterranean diet and some elements of the Mediterranean diet were really a big factor in these people's ability to live into their hundreds in good health.
That's right.
Yeah, that was the neat thing.
Mediterranean is one part area of the blue zones. Like there was a place in Greece and Sardinia, like Icarus in Greece.
Yeah.
And Sardinia in Italy. But there's other places around the world like Okinawa, Japan, and Loma Linda in California. So there's little pockets and areas around the world where they've studied and they looked at why people are living longer in good health. And we'll do another whole episode on this, but today we're talking about beans and the fact that they're so undervalued and actually good value. When you go to the grocery store, they're so inexpensive.
Yeah, they really are. I didn't really eat a lot of beans until, well, recently, I think. I'm like, yeah, why aren't we including them? And the big reason is like, I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
But now I do. And yeah, it's just so easy.
So what do you do with them?
Well, we've always got a can of some sort of bean. Like there's lots of different kind. There's black beans, which we really like and are quite good for you. There's white kidney beans, red kidney beans. There's chickpeas, which are also called garbanzo beans, I think. We've got lentils.
Great northern beans.
Yeah, there's all sorts of different beans. You can buy like the bean salad too that's ready to go. But as far as cooking, yeah, I have a can of beans I buy one every time I go shopping. It's one of the staples. And they're just so easy to open and add to whatever you're making, like pasta sauce or some sort of chili or any kind of thing that, just they go with everything. So
taco
it's pretty
salad.
easy.
I make lentil soup most weeks. So there's always a lentil soup in the fridge to eat for lunch or dinner. And then chili is good, and black bean burritos, black bean brownies, pinto, like refried beans. There's so many ways to eat beans, and so many cultures have beans as their staple. Like you think rice and beans.
Yeah, exactly. I was just at my parents' over the weekend, and they had asked sort of how we use beans, because I was saying you guys should, you need to eat more beans. And they're like, well, we don't know what to do with them. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to show you a meal that I've started making recently that's really easy. It's called gigantes, which is it's a Greek dish that uses gigante beans, I guess, which are harder to find. So
you don't have to use gigante?
No, you don't have to. Butter beans, I think, is another one you can use. You just want a really large bean.
The lima beans?
Yeah, that's another one. I use white kidney beans because that's just kind of what was available in the store when I bought them. And
what kind did you make when you made it a couple weeks ago at home? It was so good, that dish.
Yeah, white kidney beans.
It was like a lasagna, but with beans.
Yeah.
It was so, explain it. It's so good.
It's so easy. So my dad and I went to the store, and I just said, just come with me and I'll show you, because this is stuff I buy every time I go to the store because it's really easy. They're good staples to have on hand because you can do so much with them. So we bought a can of white kidney beans. I bought a can of sliced mushrooms just because they're cheap and they're easy to add to stuff, and it saves you from having to cut up mushrooms. And fresh is always good, but these are just easy. If you want a quick, easy meal, can of mushrooms to have on hand.
Inexpensive too.
And inexpensive, exactly. Can of stewed tomatoes with the herbs and spices. I like that one because it adds a bit of extra flavor.
And you can get low sodium canned tomatoes too for people if that's an issue.
Exactly. So we got a can of beans, can of mushrooms, can of stewed tomatoes. What else did I put in there?
Onions, garlic.
Oh yeah, I bought a bag of frozen vegetables that had like a bag of diced, because it's really small. They're not big, huge chunks of vegetables. I like the little diced ones for this. So it had onions, peppers, celery, and carrots in it, I think. So yeah, you just put some oil in the pan, you throw in your vegetables, let them kind of warm up a bit, and then you just start dumping your cans of stuff in. And
spices.
Yeah, and spice it however you like.
Smoked paprika.
Yeah, we like that one, but whatever you like for your spices. Italian spices would probably be good, your oregano and parsley and those types of spices would be good in there. And then you just heat it up, and then you bake it for a little while as well. I'd throw it in a lasagna tray and we bake it. It dries it out a little bit, which is kind of what you want because it's a bit soupy from the canned tomatoes. Mm-hmm. So you can throw some feta cheese on it too, which is really good.
Oh yeah, I love that contrast, like the salty flavor and the creaminess.
Yeah, exactly. So and it all kind of melts in and everything, and it's just easy. And you pull it out. And then when you serve it, you put olive oil on it. And that is like the finishing touch. It's like the cherry on top. I forgot it until I was on my third bite. And I'm like, oh, I forgot the olive oil. And what a difference. It was so good. And there's just so much in it. You've got your veggies, you've got your beans, which is like your protein and your fiber. And yeah, it's just... And
Is there rice or any kind of grain?
So that's the thing I said to my parents, because they have a ton left over. And I said, so you can make another meal out of this. You could add it on top of rice. You could put it...
Quinoa?
Yeah, right. Any kind of grain, pasta or anything.
Yeah.
Or you could just sort of turn it into a different kind of sauce,
That's awesome. Yeah.
And it was just so easy to make. And I always talk about my chili as well. And that's exactly the same way I make my chili, except I add we use the eaves just like ground. It's a soy-based ground beef, basically. It's like a ground beef.
It's like textured vegetable protein.
Yeah.
TVP.
But I can't, I like it way better than that stuff. I always found that stuff, you could tell it wasn't real, but the just like ground that we use is so good. It's very realistic as far as the texture and feel of it, compared to ground beef. And so that's my chili, and then a little spice packet.
And talk about like easy, like it's an easy meal to make.
Oh, it took us like 5 minutes to make it, and then we just waited for it to kind of heat up.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
That's even that's faster than the HelloFresh meals.
Yeah,
because they're about 20 minutes.
I mean, you just had to open cans. I mean, how long does it take you to open a can? I mean, that's how long it takes you to make the meal. And as the longer that you leave it to sort of simmer, the better it's going to be. But really, as far as, I mean, you don't have to be there for that part. You can go and have a shower or do whatever you got to do while your thing's simmering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just the prep part is super fast.
Yeah, and that's a fast way. Like if people want to use fresh vegetables and cut them up and add their own, the fresh, that's another option. Or you can do a combination of frozen vegetables and like fresh garlic and fresh onions.
Oh yeah, garlic. I put garlic in it too.
Okay.
That's a necessity.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's a necessity in everything.
Yeah. Oh wow. Sounds delicious.
Another one, yeah. But yeah, that's one you can play around with too. I mean, you could throw some spinach in it. You could throw some frozen corn in it. There's a whole bunch of different things that would work.
Oh yeah, frozen corn, right? Or canned corn.
Yeah, because it's like you said, it's kind of like especially with the cheese on it, it ends up coming out of the oven looking like a lasagna because of its sort of tomato-y color. It's red, and
color. It's like a color of the rainbow, which is really good because that's what we promote, is eating a variety of different plant foods like the vegetables and the beans, and it's so delicious too, especially with all the different herbs and spices you put in there, and onions and onion and garlic, and oh yeah, it smells so good when you're cooking it, and yeah, it was so delicious.
Yep, that's a good one. So that's one easy one, but there's so many more. And I just sort of looked that up on the internet. I'd heard about it and I thought, I'm just going to figure out how to make that because it looks pretty good. And I looked it up and I'm like, oh, this is so easy. So there's other bean recipes there too, that you can look on the internet, get an idea, and then just play around. And, like we always say, experiment. Don't be afraid to just try something and see what happens. And
yeah. And I remember we interviewed Scott Vickerson, Vegan Runners.
Mm-hmm. Vegan for Runners.
That's right. Yeah. And there was an article on the blog, and there's a couple recipes. He eats like 120 grams of protein from plant-based sources every day, and a lot of his intake are beans.
Yeah.
So, and nuts and seeds. But yeah, beans, there's a lot of ways you can use beans to have delicious meals.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're going to post a little questionnaire on Facebook, on our Facebook page. We want to hear what your bean recipes are, and we'll maybe share our Gigante's recipe on there with a picture of it. And then, shoot us a comment. Let us know what you like to eat, what your favorite recipes are. Maybe a picture, if you have one. That'd be kind of fun. We can have a bean dish contest.
Yeah, I should mention some people have reservations or issues with beans because of the gas, and you can buy things like Beano, an enzyme that will help it'll help your body break down the fermentable sugars that are causing that gas. But as you start to get used to, as your body gets used to eating beans, then it will naturally help with reducing that issue. But I just wanted to mention that. And, eating more beans, if you do this regularly, it really reduces your risk for so many chronic diseases. That's why they're a big part of the blue zones and the Mind diet. They're plant-based protein. They add soluble fiber, give bulk to the stool so that you have more regular bowel movements. There's so many good things about beans. So I really encourage people to start to experiment and take Rob's advice and try those gigantes. They're so delicious.
Absolutely. You were going to say something about lectins too, weren't you?
Oh yeah, don't eat raw beans because that's they have lectins, and if you cook them or if they're canned beans, then the lectins are broken down, so that's not an issue.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of people who don't eat beans because they've heard, oh, don't eat beans. There's lectins, and lectins are bad, and so beans are bad. But that's only with
people that eat raw beans, which I don't think anyone eats raw beans. I'm hoping that's a food safety issue.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Well, hopefully that was helpful. Like I said, check out our Facebook page. We'll post a little picture of our recipe on there, and you can have a look at that and see if it's something you want to try. And let us know what you've got going with your beans there, and let us see a picture of what you made, and leave a comment, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and two of the main take-home message foods that Amanda Archibald mentioned on the Genomic Kitchen on a recent episode were lentils and chickpeas. They're garbanzo beans. They're just loaded with nutrition, and those are also beans and legumes and pulses that add to good health for your eating plan.
And you know what you can make with chickpeas? Hummus, exactly. That's another super easy thing to whip up if you have a food processor or blender. It's we'll maybe post a quick recipe for that too, because that's easy. We do it all the time, and easy.
And the combination with the sesame seed, the tahini paste, is that combination of chickpeas and sesame seeds is a just double whammy of nutrition. Yeah,
huge benefits.
It speaks to your genes, and it's good for you.
Right on. So we've got something new. We've mentioned this a couple of times now, but we've got a newsletter that we're starting to put out. And if you're interested in signing up for that, you can go to the website at mywifethedietitian.com. There's a few links on the website. I think it's the bottom of most of the pages. We'll have a sign up button that you can sign up for that newsletter. It'll be a couple times a month that we'll do that. And there'll be some information there. We'll give you an update on what's coming up, some of the episodes that we're doing, some extra downloadable stuff that you can get, and just a bit more information than what we're getting through the podcast here. So give that a look and see if that's something you're interested in. And if you want to send us questions too, you're welcome to do that. We love hearing your questions. So you can email those to us at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And you can also check out our social media pages. Like I said, we're on Facebook. We're also on Instagram, and we're on YouTube as well, which is a fun way to listen to the podcast for a lot of people. It's you don't have to watch it. You can just put on some headphones and do your thing around the house while you're listening to us talk in your ear. So if that's appealing, or it's not like you have to sit and watch the video like you do with a lot of the other YouTube stuff. So one of the benefits of podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you enjoy the podcast, share it with one friend or a coworker or a colleague. We really appreciate that. It helps to get it out there for other people to enjoy and learn and get these nuggets. And we are really excited that you are spending your valuable time with us. And we appreciate every listener, and we know how valuable your time is. So we are so happy that you spend it with us.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you feel like giving us a review, that would be awesome too. You can do that on most of the different platforms, social media, and all the podcast platforms have a way to rate and review the show you've listened to. So that's super helpful as well if you're interested in doing that. So that's it for this week. I hope you're all going to go out and buy some beans and start experimenting in your kitchen with some different bean recipes, and we want to hear about it. So be sure to visit our Facebook page, and we'll all compare bean recipes, bean dishes, exactly. We will be back next Monday with a full episode. So have a great week, everyone.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.